Well, we just got through watching the final episode of Lord of the Rings Season 2. Let's see what everybody thinks about it. All right, guys, just got through watching the Lord of the Rings. Pretty good stuff, I thought, but let's go around and do the thing. But I ain't got the right thing. But let's do that so people can see our beautiful background. But French, man, you're going to be the lore expert, I guess, on this one because Adelia's not here, so you're the guy. So to give everybody background before we get into the breakdown and everything else is so me, Greg, and Brandi, we're all like we would be called normies, okay, when it comes to even though like I do know some things and I've looked into some things after I started watching the show, so I know a little more than say just a little bystander out there watching the show or whatever. Don't know a huge amount and everything else. So like how we feel about the show may be totally different from people that actually know the lore and the breakdown and how things were actually done in the books and the stories that this is pertaining to and everything else. The French Connor over here, he knows a little bit more than the but let's go ahead, man. What did you think, French, about the episode, just in generalities, man? Like it, enjoy it, and
full chub, hard chub.
Yeah, full chub. This paid off the entire season, and also wrapped up some things that had been hanging around since season 1. This was I'm at a loss for words because all the major storylines, the running with the elves and Sauron and the rings. Okay, so we know where we are there. We've answered the question about the stranger. It was Gandalf the whole time. I've been calling it for like 2 years.
Grand Elf. We still haven't confirmed yet.
Grendel.
No, call himself that at the end, and the subtitles changed at the end too. So I saw that.
Hodor.
The dwarves have got their rings. They've settled the whole generational power struggle between the two Durins. But now it's one of those. We all know he's going to end up putting that ring on. There's that coming. So again, the lore stuff of where Numenor goes to Middle Earth and they're absolute dicks to the people who already live there. And I was waiting for like when is how and the time condensation is so right that all they had to do was park that asshole fucking kid that we don't like there with the broken arm that got blown up with Isildur, and we knew immediately that we're going to have this asshole that's going to make the people hate him. Where all of a sudden Sauron's not going to seem like such a bad idea.
Greg, what'd you think about the episode, man?
What up? Great, man. We got right into the action, and we just kept going, boom, 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 hitting each storyline, wrapping up things, kind of like getting shit done. It was good pacing, good storytelling. I guess Gandalf in Spanish Grandolf, or Grand Elf in Spanish is Gandalf, so that's how you get that. Kind of weird, but I'll go roll it, I guess. Sure. But we got about a finale, things that I liked about it. Got to the end, and now we're kind of like I'm pretty satisfied. So full chub.
Go ahead, Brandi. What'd you think about the episode?
Like these guys said, a lot of action. It wrapped up some things. I enjoyed the storylines and seeing where they're going, and I love Nori.
Might not be seeing Nori though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But hopefully we cross paths again. Who knows?
They'll probably see him at some point, but it looks like their part of the story is done as far as right now. There might be some side quest or something that has to be done that they can help with or something.
Well, I think one thing I thought of while we were watching this tonight was when we did see the Harfoots, and this episode in particular, but the whole season this season was less is more with the Harfoots. The first season, it was just so much Nori and Poppy that it did kind of get old and slow. This season, it was just right. We all know they're going to be hobbits, but we don't have to like constantly rub our noses in it. We have more story to tell, and they did, which is great.
Yeah, I enjoyed the episode better than the last episode. Like I said in last episode's breakdown was bro, it felt like I was watching a wrestling event and everybody just kept coming in. Now there was a lot of stuff in this one, but I thought like it flowed better than last week's.
Mhm.
And everything else. So I did enjoy that better. The only thing that I think would have made it better for me is during the Sauron and fight with Galadriel. Wouldn't have been Galadriel. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying she shouldn't have been involved at all. I think she should have came in at the last minute and helped save. But I literally think that scene should have been, and I always forget his name.
Oh, Andor?
No,
Good freeze.
Yeah.
My favorite character. But I think he should have been the one battling.
None of us heard what you said, Ham.
Yeah.
Justin, you froze for a second. So we didn't
Okay,
hear what you
so what I think about that fight scene, I think it would have been better if we would have had my favorite elf of the series so far, the new elf, the guy who's not really part of lore, and I always forget his name.
Ronald?
Arondir.
Arondir. So if
Sure.
Arondir was fighting Sauron and all that stuff was going on, and then maybe Galadriel comes in at the last moment to save the day kind of thing, and there's too much for Sauron, so maybe he gets away, whatever. Because my thing is during that whole like fight scene, all the stuff that I was supposed to be like, oh crap, like what's going to happen was always messed up and took me out of it because I knew, well, she can't die. So like all this cool stuff is happening. He can't die, she can't die. And if it would have been Arondir, say doing most of the fighting, and say he gets injured, right, and then Galadriel shows up, and then maybe they have a little bit of a scuffle, there would have been a lot of moments during that scene that really would have been like, oh shit, is he dead? Is he actually gone? And if he would have been the one that they got together to heal, whatever, and kind of made him like this like cool character. And I understand he's not part of the big lore, but like I said, it was just like that whole fight scene. All the rest of the show, I was perfectly fine with. And the stuff they did with Galadriel and Sauron looked cool. I thought it was fine. But it was like, there was just too much of like, oh, well, she ain't dying. So like her getting stabbed with the helmet thing or, or the crown, all that, her fault, her doing the sacrifice to fall back, whatever, with her ring is all like fake sacrifices because we know what happens because of the character. And I thought it would have been cool if somehow they could have put a character in there during those moments that we literally could have been like, oh shit, is this guy dead? Or whoever character you used.
I see your point, Hambone. I think that what they were going for was a confrontation between Galadriel and Sauron because that's been building for 2 seasons. But I do want to ask, did anybody else get Luke and Vader in Empire Strikes Back vibes from that fight?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, almost any fight that you have, you got some evil person against a good person, especially if like the swords or whatever, you could probably use it. But yeah, I mean, just bit.
Some of the framing, some of the way they were just sort of some of the choreography, it wasn't like shot for shot at all, but it did kind of have a vibe for me of
a little
Luke,
bit of
Luke trying real hard to go after Vader, and Vader just kind of doing one of these. Sauron was doing
that,
that,
and like
he was one-handing that big old foam sword.
Yeah, go ahead, Greg.
I was gonna say that, and when Luke was in the cave, and Yoda, and he had to like face himself, got a little bit of that.
And does anybody else think that? I hope that in the next season they pull back on everyone giving the lustful eye to Galadriel. Like you got the king elf looking at her a little funny.
That's what Sauron gets his eye from.
Yeah, you got Sauron looking at her or something. You got the guy that I like holding her hand in a way that's like a little bit more, it looks like, than friends. Then you got Elrond over here giving her the like kiss, and he's supposed to be part of her family coming up like at some point. Like, can we just...
They're doing at least I hope they're consciously doing a meta joke of it, is that in the lore, in the Tolkien, everybody, Galadriel is the most beautiful of beautiful. It's a Helena of Troy sort of thing. Everybody like here's these stories and they don't really believe it, and they see her and like, yeah, they believe it. In the books, what's his name, the dwarf, John Rhys Davies, Gimli, he's ready to fight anybody who says that Galadriel is not the most beautiful thing on all of Middle Earth ever, and he's a dwarf. I think they're playing with that. How everybody who sees Galadriel goes, oh, Galadriel, Bonnie McMurray.
Bonnie McMurray.
There are certain things that, like I said, and some of it's like with time constraints. I just think some of these things we need to find a perfect balance, and I don't want to go to the 20 and 24 episode seasons like they used to do. Like Supernatural's a big one. Like I stopped watching the show after I got it to like the 5th season, was liking the show Supernatural. Stopped watching it because like I ended up seeing how many seasons there were, and it was like almost an hour-long episode. 2024. I don't think we need to go back to that, but we do need to find some kind of thing. I don't know if we need to do like the 12 episodes or whatever, because there are certain things in this season, looking back at it as a finale, yeah, maybe even just 10, but I don't know what the magic number is, and maybe it should be based on the story. But the thing is there's things in this season that I think would have been way better if we had a little more time to breathe with certain things. So like the dwarves, for instance, I think that moment with father and son would have been better if we would have had some bigger and better moments between them two. All we had is like strife and him always going against his dad. There wasn't these times where we felt like there was a hint of love for each other or whatever, or any of that. Art that was done like but I can't really say it wasn't done well, because I thought the scenes they did try to do that they did good, but it was one of those things where you might have needed it just a little bit more, because that was an impactful moment. Like I'm a father, I have my son, so like that's going to hit me harder, but like it just wasn't told good enough that when that moment happened, even though I was still like, oh, this is a cool moment, that I was like enraptured by it. And I should have been hit super hard. You know what I'm saying? With that moment, I should have been almost tearing up over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh man, look at his dad doing the sacrifice. But his dad was an asshole the whole time and everything else.
Well,
and
the ring made him an asshole.
Yeah.
No, he was an asshole before it. That's my point. Like, it would have been different if he was
a dwarf.
But it would have been different if he was like, say, different before the ring, and then the ring kind of corrupts him. But he really didn't act that much different. The only thing that the ring was kind of making him do was do things maybe a little more dumb, like him being more stubborn. But like he kind of acted the same even when he had the ring that he didn't have the ring, except for the fact, like I said, he wouldn't listen to anybody and he was doing a dumb move.
He went from don't even think about digging because it's unsafe and it could bring the whole fucking mountain down to
trying to dig.
The freaking place down there is gold in them there hills.
No. See, I agree with that.
Gold.
Like, his temperament with his son or anything else didn't really change. It was just that like now, instead of like don't touch that,
but it went
now we're gonna open it all up. But
it went from don't touch that to I had a bad day at work and I'm gonna take it out on you.
But it's like I just think that some of the moments could have been better suited, like I said. But I thought, like I said, this episode was definitely better than the last episode. I think this season overall was better than last season, like 100 times. Like if this season would have been like last season, I would have stopped after season 2. I would have been maybe I still touch it on season 3.
Yeah. Ooh,
maybe I still give it a chance. But yeah, it wouldn't have been that good. I do think that this season brought it up a notch to where I'm interested in what they may do with a season 3. So I do give them props for that. I think they did course correct this season. Now, there are things, because I have dug a little deeper, that if I was a huge Lord of the Rings fan, I also understand some people that don't like some of the choices they make. Because if I was like as big of a Lord of the Rings fan as I am with Star Wars, I would probably have more issues with the show than what I'm having now. And maybe some of the rest of us would too, if we were like a super fans, because like you and Adelia, for instance, are super fans. Y'all are still liking it, even though some of the lore changes have happened.
But
But you do got to recognize that some people.
I just accept it at this point, you know. It's
no, and that's fine.
It would be, you know, or maybe
again,
things will be different, but I like what I can like, you know.
Exactly,
like you know.
Exactly, and I agree with that. I just think that you also have to accept that some people's not, and that's fine. There's no reason to be mad at each other for that or whatever difference of opinions with that stuff. You got to understand. Let me tell you something. That's one of the problems I was having with the Acolyte. They messing with my lore a little bit too much. You know what I'm saying? Don't put freaking Yoda in there. Don't do it. And they did it. And that's bothersome for me because that's Star Wars. But that kind of stuff doesn't bother me with Lord of the Rings. Like I said, I enjoyed it.
I was always, you know, when you look at the Jedi we know from the movies, pretty much all of them were lying to Luke at some point.
Yeah.
You know, they were all liars. And now it's like, oh, wait, Yoda was lying the whole time? Yeah, that's kind of what he was doing.
Yeah, but and we don't need to really get into that thing because that's going to be something else. But there's a difference between like not telling the full truth and like being part of a cover.
The time compression is a little when you transfer to film, the time compression is going to happen, and it could be worse for sure. It's been better than I thought it would be, as far as like how smashed together they're doing things that were, you know, hundreds or thousands of years, you know, generation upon generation that led to these various folks.
Exactly.
You just skip a lot of that and fast. For example, the whole like Numenor goes to Middle Earth, and it was like hundreds of years they were just like, you know, pillaging the land and, you know, repressing the people. Whereas they handled that in a scene and a half with Farazan Jr. being an absolute dick that he's been for 2 seasons.
Well, it's like
and even in 5 minutes, you knew exactly how it was going to be for these people, and why.
Even at the beginning of this season, when you see like what happens to Sauron, we got to see Sauron basically get taken out, and then all that. That's like I think was supposed to be like maybe even over 1,000 years of time that was supposed to pass between him dying like that and him being in this time period that we're in now in the show. That kind of thing. So yeah, I agree. It's kind of tough.
And that was a nice circle is now complete thing that they did do this season, is they start with that, where Sauron is getting, the orcs have had enough of his bullshit, and Adar is the ringleader of this, who are going to stab his ass and kill him off and get him out of the story. We're done with Sauron. We're going to be free. And then these guys decide they're going to stab on Adar, and Sauron's the one who's going to free them.
We can all agree that Adar.
We know where the story goes from here.
We can all agree that Adar, as like what he was, I thought the actor did a good job in this season with the character. But we all can agree that, you know, he was kind of nasty. All right.
Yeah,
but then,
he was an orc.
But then he had ring. He had that ring for a second. Let me tell you something. Like how much on the sexy how much on the sexy scale did he raise up when you saw him with the ring on? And you know, he didn't
the
have
elf version of him again. The whole story of that of especially his character was Morgoth took elves and messed them up to make them orcs. See, and this orc's got the ring, and with Gladriel's ring, it's got the magic that he can suddenly be the elf he used to be for a bit.
I'm gonna be a little sweaty right here because this is something else I learned as I kind of dove more into it. Is, man, you know what sucks about this to me the most is that we're not getting none of the cool Sauron werewolves. Sauron did things with werewolves. That was I didn't even know that was part of Lord. I didn't even know werewolves was part of Lord of the Rings.
That would be the House of the Dragon to the Game of Thrones for Rings of Power. They'll go back even farther, and then we'll see Morgoth and Sauron when he was like a lackey.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it pretty good. I thought there was interesting stuff in it. I thought some things could have been done just a little bit better, but I do think it was better overall than like the first season. And this show, even in the first season, just looks so good. It sounds good. Like I said, it is different because, like, you can say, well, they spent a lot of money, but at least you can see where they spent the money. Like costuming, just all that kind of stuff, man. It looks amazing and beautiful and all that stuff. A lot of times I'm just catching myself like looking at the background and everything. I will say that I was happy this season we didn't get a lot of the old Poppy and the stranger and Nori and stuff like that. But I will say, this episode, I thought it was really cool. Like, I thought it was a really cool, like, story that they kind of wrapped up. Now, obviously, the biggest secret that wasn't a secret, Gandalf's revealed. But I thought the moments that we had with those characters was like kind of like what French said. I thought it was perfect. You got a little bit of them splashed in. I wasn't that interested in their story. And then what happened at the end made up for it a little bit. I was like, hey, man, that was kind of cool. Like, I like the moment that they had. We still don't know who this dark wizard technically is. He's still sort of a mystery, but everybody thinks he's not. I always get the names mixed up because you have Sauron, and then you have, who is
Saruman.
it? Saruman, yeah, pretty close. Their names are pretty close, but
yeah, I don't know. I was getting some major Christopher Lee vibes from this guy this episode.
Let's reverse the order.
Maybe that was on purpose.
Yeah, let's reverse the order on this one. Let's go down the line. We'll start with Brandi on this one. Brandi, your favorite moment and maybe your least favorite moment. Remember, your least favorite doesnn have to be a bad thing. It's just like the thing that you didn't care about as much in the episode, even if you thought it was good.
I didn't really care for the stuff with Theon and the brother, and I don't know. I just him going back to the place where the kid's father is now the king, and his father is a traitor, and I didn't care for that much. I didn't care for it all. And him falling for that girl that's with that guy.
And then the guys like holding their hands. It's kind of awkward.
It just
Cook.
Yeah, look at this.
I didn't I didn't really care for that. Favorite moment? Probably when Gandalf got his staff. Finally get to see who he was. They called him Grand Elf, and that's when it came to Gandalf. So it kind of reminded me of Hodor, Hold the Door.
Yeah.
Now, was that moment like super big for you just because of the fact that most people kind of knew it was Gandalf, or was it still big even though you kind of knew it?
Finally, 2 seasons, he got what he was looking for, and it's like, I love that he finally got his staff, and he said, you don't find the staff finds you pretty much. You're supposed to go through this path, but you didn't realize that it was that way. And he found it.
They dropped a lot of breadcrumbs that's who it was, but they always kept the door open that it might be something else. And then suddenly it was like, yeah, of course it's Gandalf. Come on, people.
Yeah, I thought it would have been interesting if they would have went one of the Blue Wizard routes. And everything, but like I'm fine with it being Gandalf. But like I said, I'm not a big, super huge lore nerd and everything else. So like, some people has a problem with Gandalf being part of this because technically he wasn't even around at this time, or he hadn't came to Middle Earth at this time. And
technically, it's like you didn't live in that city until the first time you got arrested there. Kind of things. Maybe the first time they thought Gandalf was around was the first time anybody noticed.
All right, Greg, man. Well, never mind. Go ahead.
Never mind.
Go ahead. No, I said go ahead.
No, never mind. Go ahead, Greg.
Don't do it, Greg.
I'm not in the middle of this. Go ahead, Brandi.
Don't do it, Greg.
Oh, go ahead, Greg. I'm fine.
Greg, I guess you go ahead.
Yeah, just for the sake of content. Worst, I didn't like Gandalf, the whole connection. I was hoping for more of a better Hodor, like we mentioned, like it was so goodly done. It's just like oh, Gandalf from Grandelf. I'll call myself Gandalf. I was like, all right, buddy. Like, what? Don't get it. Whatever. We'll roll with it. It's finally over. We finally know you're Gandalf. Finally, officially. Let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I thought they could have did without the
now season 3 is gonna come, and so he's gonna have more. So now I'm glad that he got who he was, and like he said his name, and he got his staff, and now
now that we know who he is, he can have proper Gandalf adventures.
Exactly.
I didn't mind, like-
I enjoyed it because he's now who he is, and we get to see the next season the stuff that he's going to go through. So,
I'm fine that he's Gandalf. I didn't really care for the Grand Elf thing that happened right before it. Like, he's not even an elf.
Wizard who makes fireworks for the higher foots.
It's like I could kind of see what they were trying to do because if you say Grand Elf, it's almost like Gandalf to a certain point.
And I'm gonna do some looking around on the internet and see if Mithrandir translates into roughly Grand Elf. Because that may be one of those layers upon layers. It might be Mexican. You're right, Greg.
Like,
but what was your favorite moment, Greg?
Favorite moment, probably all the deaths, man. During going out,
just like everybody dying.
Yeah, during going out like a G, kill a bimbo or whatever, getting sliced up, getting like pieced up.
Yep.
Man, who else we die like it? I forgot who else we died. Andor, my boy Andor getting pieced up. I was glad that Sauron got to stand over him. I was hoping he'd do the crown. Remember me? Kind of like
put some extra stabbage on him.
I wish he would have gone full. Who else? I don't think anybody else died, but it was tight. All the deaths were good. I was glad.
But you got to see him because he had Galadriel's ring on. You got to see him in not his dark form. You got to see him as one of the elves. And what did he say he was known as?
Yeah, I don't think he ever said.
He never did, and as they were teasing that, I'm going, "Oh shit!"
I heard that, and I was like, "Oh shit!" They give him a sweet name or something.
Well, yeah, but Galadriel's by Lord of the Rings, Galadriel has a husband, a partner, Celeborn, and in season 1, she said he was gone. And okay, where the hell is he? Because he's gonna be in the movies.
Yeah.
And I'm going, oh shit! When he had a ring on, I'm like, is this what's happening here? Where the ring lets him be an elf again? I was thinking that's what was happening, and then he took the ring off and went back to being who he was, and then the stabbing happened.
Yeah.
That, and then the fight was good with Liu Kang and Shang Tsung. That big fight they had, that was good. And then the speeches. I thought Nori's speech with the voiceover, and then Galadriel's speech at the end.
All right, mine. My least favorite is going to be some of the stuff. I love some of the scenes. Like I love the Celebrimbor scene where we get to see like Sauron be like this evil bastard, because I don't think they've let him be like a pure evil bastard most of the time, and that's what he's supposed to be. If you're being honest with it, I just don't. Like him and Galadriel fighting, for instance, like I think he should have just dominated that. Like he's got all these powers and stuff like that. I know she has like one of the rings and she's a pretty powerful character herself. But like for Sauron, you have to get people afraid of Sauron, right? And then you get everybody together and you whoop his ass. Okay. And like to me, it's like, well, almost one of the elves. Now, granted, a very powerful elf. A commander, someone who's been searching for him. So I get why she's like pretty powerful, but it's like you have to set up that he's super dangerous, and like he almost got taken out. There were a couple of times during the fight where he almost got taken out. Like he had to use trickery and stuff like that, which is fine. But like it's like I'm supposed to be kind of scared, or he's supposed to be scary. So like to me, it's like, bro, if she just had one other person, they dominate him and kill him, and it's an easy kill. Like, it's not even that big of a thing because of how much she was able to do in the fight. Now, she does end up getting beat overall, which is, like, obviously something that needed to happen at that moment in time because he had to get the rings. But it's like, to me, he should have kind of, like, dominated just to be, like, super scary.
But she threw herself. She's like, "No, you're not getting me. Bye."
I think again that's future Galadriel is going to be a lot scarier.
Right, but you see, like Sauron's like, and like I said, I know Galadriel ends up getting like some more powers and stuff as it goes on, like as far as magical stuff.
Now, did she get more stuff because they healed her? Like
the midichlorians,
the ring is a big. The ring she has is a big part of her power.
Yeah, and
The
And
power
she
of
also
truly
does learn.
kind of.
She also does learn some things, but the ring is a big part of it.
yeah, but like you know what I'm saying. I think the evil guy if you're going to put him in that position as of right now, like let's say this was like the final episode, the climax, and whatever, and that kind of thing. Maybe it's a little different. Maybe she has some help or something like that. But like in this still early in the story, you got to show that this guy's dominant, and he's been doing his thing for years. It's not like he's training. It's not like he's got a new ring. Like he is supposed to be the thing. Right. You got rings coming up.
The Lord of the Rings.
But he doesn't have the ring. And just skipping ahead to my favorite part, the Celebrimbor saying the thing is the Lord of the Rings, but he's as much a prisoner. And we all know the end of this story. Celebrimbor makes a comment about, the hand it's on isn't going to serve you well. Well, yeah, because it's going to get cut right off of his hand. And the ring is getting thrown in the fire is what's going to end Sauron. He's going to fuck this up.
Yep. We
know this, but they presented it so very, very well. And Celebrimbor talking that down to him as he's pinned to the wall was an amazing scene. And that the Lord nerd in me, I super wish Adelia was here so we could geek out together. Miss you. But he said the thing, and Sauron's going to spend season 3 at least. He could be fucking up this ring. He could constantly be getting it wrong. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And he's finally going to get it right, and that's going to be the end of him.
Yeah, I agree with all the things you just said, and that's actually my favorite part of the episode was the Celebrimbor Sauron stuff. Because, like I said, that was that one moment we got to see Sauron be just an evil guy. Almost like nothing stopping him. He's doing his thing. He's like over here torturing this guy. He's doing his thing. He looked scary in that moment. And then, like I said, you take him and put him into a fight with just a one person. It wasn't like he was being double or triple teamed. It was a one-on-one fight. And I just thought he should have showcased more power, like to me.
I think part of that is he's always playing with you.
No, I get that, but the way it looks is, like I said, the way it looks is if she would have had one other person, not even a super powerful person, but she was able, like when they got together one-on-one, like he just doesn't seem that scary because literally any other elf there and they win and dominate because Sauron almost lost without her having any help. So like with just one simple other person there to help and it's over. And this guy's supposed to be taking over the whole, and this guy's supposed to be powerful enough.
Killed more orcs than any other elf. She says that she is pretty much the best they have.
Right. But she has to survive too, right? I'm just saying that it should have been to me like a dominant performance. Somehow she does her thing. She escapes or whatever. He gets the rings obviously from her, but doesn't get the elfin ring and all that good stuff. It's just like, I would have liked to have a little more dominance.
However it look, and that's one of those, again, maybe the lore nerds, saw it a different way, is that, Galadriel is, if Elrond had been in that same fight with Sauron, he's got 9+1 rings, and Sauron wants those rings. Elrond is deader than Elvis, and Sauron has 10 rings. And cut to the dwarves. Because this scene is over. Galadriel is the only one who could have survived that long in a fight with Sauron.
I did think the Gandalf thing should have probably been the last thing. I thought instead I would have switched that around. I would have had the dwarf scene where they look over at the ring and stuff, and then I'd probably had the Gandalf saying his name kind of running into season 3 because that to me that you should have had that probably end it and be the precipice what have you. And yeah, I think that should have been flipped around. And like I said, the only thing I had really with this episode that I just disliked was just the plot armor. And it was definite plot armor.
We knew it was going to be there.
Yeah.
The Elrond plot armor, like when Andar had him, I was like, you probably just kill him. Right here.
Yeah. But they, especially with Adar, they generally wrote around it because Adar had his own motivation that was kind of different from what we understood. Again, and he was, especially when he had the ring on. He's like, look, I just want the orcs to have these are my people. I just want them to have a place where we'll be left alone and we'll leave you alone. You know, because this asshole is dead. He's not going to be able to make us do shit we don't want to do. We can do this, right? Yeah, we can do this. Well, we could until you know who showed up.
Yeah, I do want to give a shout out to.
Happened.
I do want to give a shout out to the greatest orc in the galaxy. I was calling him crap. Why am I forgetting his name now? Like I said his name straight off the bat when we were watching the episode. Arrow Elf.
Oh, Legolas.
Around here.
Yeah, no. We had Legolas Orc out there tonight. I want to give a shout out to him because that son of a gun, he was sniping folks. That one orc, all of a sudden he pulled out the bow and he was like, plow. Dude dies, fall off the thing. Another guy was like jumping around. He gets shot by the orc. I'm like, damn, son. Where this orc been the whole time? He was
like the stormtroopers in Andor.
They put the accuracy on full blast.
But this dude right here, he was the most badass orc on the planet. Like, what was he like? He should have been pulled out at the very beginning. He could have been taking them out, sniping them the whole damn series.
Yeah, he spec'd his crit chance.
I have a question. The guy that had the bow and arrow, not the orc that he was talking about, the one at the end that was helping with Galadriel when he came back. Did he always have a ring?
Elrond?
No, not Elrond. The other guy.
Wow.
Oh, Gil-galad? Yeah, when Elrond took the ring, when they were making the rings at the end of season 1, Elrond had one of them. He took it to Gil-galad because Gil-galad is a king.
Yeah, no,
he had the ring.
He had the other ring. The other guy that had the bow and arrow,
she's talking about my favorite elf,
Arondir.
Arondir.
I don't know if Arondir has a ring.
No.
I thought it looked like he had one on his hand too, and they were helping heal her. Like
that, I didn't really think about it till now, but
catch that.
That's a mess up in this episode. That's an actual legit mess up here, and I didn't think about it till Brandi was saying what she was saying. You remember the third ring went to the elf that Elrond was talking to in that community. The guy who was at first going to go destroy him because he was going to dump him in the river. He ends up changing his mind.
Yeah.
He had the third ring and he wasn't anywhere around. And they even said the 3 rings is keeping this particular spot they were in protected.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, when did he get a ring?
Yeah, so they should have showed that other guy, at least showed him there. They didn't have to show him.
That might be, again, a future season, maybe season 3, where, I'm forgetting that elf.
I don't know, I'll have to go back and look at it, but
he's the only elf with a beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he's got the ring right now. Gandalf is eventually going to end up with that ring.
Yeah. So,
and Elrond is the one who gave it to.
But they should have just showed that guy, like whether he didn't have to do anything. He
and I'm thinking like they're gonna go through this where Elrond is gonna touch and or wear every ring except for the one ring.
Because
they were just gonna try on all the dwarven rings and stuff just to see how they fit.
Because they were healing her, so the 2 had the ring, and he said both of us aren't powerful enough, and that's when Eldrin, is that his name, put the Galadriel's ring on, and they saved her.
Well, that was just like the ring is what it was doing.
That's a good catch, though.
Enough to do this.
Yeah, that's a good catch. That's a legitimate. I don't think
I'll
it's
have to go back and look,
huge.
but I'm pretty positive that it showed him with a ring. Too.
Yeah, he shouldn't be. Like maybe he had a ring on, but I wouldn't say it's one of the elf rings because
like James Avery
got it.
James Avery elf ring.
No, I mean it's a good call out, Brandi, because that's a legit like mess up. Because like I said, they didn't have to have that character do anything. He didn't have to say anything. But that guy that we met earlier in the season should have just been standing there around them somewhere or something, just even in the background. But I didn't see him at all, like in the elf encampment.
Again, part of the meta and the Tolkien of it is that part of the power of the rings is just by them being there, they're doing good.
Yeah.
In general. And his ring might have been working even though it's in a drawer somewhere because he's working at something else.
No, but I'm saying that character wasn't even standing around. I'm just saying that character should have been there.
The rings don't need the character to even be referenced in the story.
I
Unfortunately,
mean, I see what you're saying, but I'm just saying
that's the meta. Yeah, that's the meta, and that's
I
how
think
I
that's
kind of
the-
like just kind of like mentally.
yeah, I think
wrote it
Brandi
out.
caught something good there. I think that is like kind of a mess up. They just didn't show
But I
him.
did like,
And maybe he was
Gil-
like in a scene and they
Gil
cut it
Galad
and
with
then didn't
his
think
ring.
about it.
I think it was more of what I caught was one ring, Gil Galad's ring. He is the High King of the Elves with all the elven magic.
Yeah, I
the
remember
elves
he got
know
the
in
he
Middle
got
Earth,
the ring
and
too.
he
I
still
remember.
couldn't do it because he turned it around because he had it turned inward. So like
Yeah.
maybe if all they saw was a band, they wouldn't take it from him. Whatever. But once Elrond brought the second ring into the game, suddenly we got the power to kind of overcome the wound.
But when
That was
when
what
they
I
were
saw
healing
there.
her, he said the two is not enough because the kid said the two is not enough, and so
yeah,
that's what.
that throws me off.
Yeah, right. Okay, I was thinking. I was like,
okay, so now I gotta watch this again. Thank you, Brandi. I
No.
need something to do to stay up to
No,
date.
like I said, I think that's a legit call out. I don't think it like breaks the episode or makes it like crappy. Some
unless I'm seeing it wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologize. But
it doesn't break anything. But no, that's I'm now I gotta watch this again. Like I wasn't going to, but still.
I mean,
Yeah,
I need to
you
look
probably
at
watched
because
like
I
10
don't.
times.
Yeah, I don't know if I missed something, and I was like, did I miss something? But I swore that he had a ring too. Like,
And it could just be like the more elves you have singing the elf magic healing song, the better it works. That might be how it works.
But he
All
put
right.
that, but the other one put the ring on to help. So I was like, I don't know.
Because yeah, that sounded like the
just
thing.
say- he
It
could
sounded
just
like the
say it.
noise that Liv Tyler was making when she was healing Frodo.
I mean, if it was just the singing, he didn't need to put the ring on, right?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Alrighty. Let's go through and bring up anything that we might have missed or something else you want to like talk about. Let's do the last comments here about the show, starting with you, French. What's your last thoughts, man? Like anything we may have missed or
If I think the biggest thing that this season threw at me is that if you wrote this off in season 1, please try again.
I will agree. I think it's definitely better than season 1.
It has gotten a lot better. The pacing is better. The story is moving along. There are some great scenes, action scenes, story scenes, emotional exchanges between characters. This is the Tolkien that we always kind of wanted, and Peter Jackson gave us a bunch of very epic visuals. Yeah, give me more of this. And again, the lore nerds are looking forward to future seasons of what may or may not be, and we may or may, we're probably going to be disappointed. But I can't wait to see what's coming next. Let's do this, Leroy Jenkins. I want more, and yeah, I'm going to watch this again and see about the rings.
Yeah, if I knew,
and next season, watching Sauron try and make the ring is going to be awesome.
Yeah, if I knew that like this team that's working on it can like even improve upon what they did this season for next season, like I thought they improved greatly from 1 to 2. If they can make that same kind of improvement to 3, like might get a banger ass season 3. To be honest with you, but Greggy Poo, man, what you got? All right, go ahead.
This could be the plan. Is we're gonna just get better and better. We're gonna peak, and then we're just kind of finished.
Well, I mean, anytime you do something, you want to improve on it. I mean,
oh yeah, I'm just making fun.
I got you, Greg.
You always want to climax better.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, Greg, tell us how to climax better.
Usually need help.
I'm listening. 2 shakes.
Yep.
RIP to some good actors and people that we had this season. We're gonna, we had to kind of cut them out so they could elevate the characters below them. So now we got the dwarves locked in, we got the elves locked in, we got better stories with Gandalf coming. Obviously Sauron's, the king of the Lord of the Rings and the king of the orcs or whatever now. So we were all kind of like, it helped them all get there, but all the supporting characters that had to die, Celebrimbor, Andar, Durin, the King Durin, they're gonna be missed, man. It was a good ride this season, and I'm just happy I could share with everybody. Miss you, Adelia, and that's it.
All right, Brandi, last thoughts.
We thought we saw the last of Tom, but apparently we didn't.
Oh,
so
We'll never
a little more Tommy.
I don't know. I just can't wait for the rest of the next season. I really enjoyed this season, and I enjoyed watching with you all. And I'm gonna miss Nori and Poppy, but I hope we see them.
And Brandi brought up
Okay.
another good point. If I see 1 or 2 scenes with Tom Bombadil every season for the rest of the show, that's enough.
Yeah, that's enough.
Gotcha.
Because we thought we were done with them right at that point, and then here he is at the end.
Every time he showed up, he packed a lot of exposition in a big hurry.
Yep. It was small, but very needed.
And yeah, he kind of filled in.
That's what my ex said.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Yep.
He did fill in some of the stuff that we needed.
Damn right.
Yeah. Like when it comes down to this, like I think that we have a good array of people that watch these shows because we not only do it for this show, but we do it for other shows. Everybody has their taste and everybody has the things that they like or dislike or whatever. I'm a little more critical than most, but I think we do need that. I'm sick and tired of people being a bunch of wusses and too afraid to say anything negative about something they like. No, it's fine. You can say the things that you see that's not the greatest. And that's how people improve. That's how people get better. That's how they grow, is because like they can be like, oh, okay, we were almost there. We could have did this a little bit better. And how are they going to know that if everybody's just being positive all the time and saying everything's, oh, this is 100% all the time and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah,
go ahead.
I just have to say, I'm glad that some of us thought that Disa might not be around, and Disa is still there, and I'm so happy because I love Disa.
Yeah, crazy old Dern's in the mine, and Disa's in there. Oh no!
I love Disa. I'm glad that nothing happened to her, and it looks like we're gonna get some brotherly stuff going on with them.
Oh yeah, I get through.
One more thing I do want to jump in is that in season 1, I made a comment but when we first saw the beard that Duran the Fourth is wearing, and it's like very obviously like woven into something else, glued to his chin. I'm like, that beard's gonna get better soon. I'm sure it will, and it still hasn't. In fact, I think it's getting worse, and I love it. It's like it's a glorious beard from about here down. In here, it's like obviously just like woven into whatever. And it's so tacky, but it's hilarious. You know, there's a meta joke in there that I love. You know?
But yeah, like I was saying,
make believe here.
Like I was saying, I just like for people to be honest and just be honest, and like you can still say your criticisms. Don't take it too
serious.
Yeah, and you can still say your criticisms, and that doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. Because, like I said, I'm more critical on a decent amount of the shows that we watch than some of the others that are on the panel. But that's just how it goes. That's just me being honest.
Is great. And Duran the Force beard is so tacky. It's hilarious.
Right. But yeah, that's my only thing I kind of want to like say is like, yeah, just be honest. And I just think a lot of people out there on the internet and otherwise just don't be honest most of the time. They don't say what they actually feel. They try to either be too positive or too negative. So it could be on both sides. And I think both of that's dumb because usually things aren't as bad as you try to hate on it or other people try to hate on, and things aren't as good as some people try to make out things to be. So a lot of times it's somewhere in the middle. I did enjoy this season more than season 1. Like I said, if this season wouldn't have made that improvement, I'd probably stop after this season. I'm probably not even thinking about season 3. But now I'm actually interested in season 3, especially if they can make those same style improvements. It might be one of the better shows out there. I think like that this show is not as good as a show as like Penguin is going on right now. I think that's an actual, it's different. But yeah, and sometimes it is hard to like judge things like that. But like I would say that Lord of the Rings is the same kind of story that would be told, or at least similar to like say a House of the Dragon.
More Lord of the Rings.
Right. But Lord of the Rings is like a little bit more related to House of the Dragon. I'd say House of the Dragon is a better show right now than this, but that doesn't make this one bad. It doesn't make this one bad. And I was shaking your head.
I disagree.
I disagree. That's the fun. That's the fun part.
See, as someone who wasn't into both of them like you guys, Lord of this Rings of Power was actually better than season 2 of
You know
House
who
of the Dragon.
George R.
House of the
Martin
Dragon.
wants to be when he grows up? Tolkien.
Yeah, maybe. No, I mean, hey, dude, I mean, he took a lot of things and inspiration from that, no doubt, 100%, which is fine.
Yeah.
Just make your own stories and stuff. And George R. R.
That's
Martin did
English
that.
literature post Tolkien.
Listen, I
But yeah.
like House of Dragon, but it's not. It was not season.
Yeah,
2
and like
favorite
it's
power.
fine to disagree because I disagree with that. I think House of Dragons is a way better written story. Way better written story.
Season compare seasons. Season 2 Rings of Power is better than season 2 House of Dragon.
It was the opposite. It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
Like I really liked season 1 of House of Dragon. Season 2 kind of
Yeah.
sucked.
Yeah.
And then
Same.
it was like the opposite.
I think a lot of
Bored.
people are just let down because of the fact that like that last episode didn't have this big action-packed thing. But then, and I was a little let down with that. But then I actually did like looked into
Be
it,
honest,
did
Justin.
research.
Be honest.
Yeah.
Being honest. But I'm being honest right now. But then I looked into it and found out the reason. I found out what happened is that because of the writer's strike, season 2 was supposed to be 10 episodes for House of the Dragon. So we were supposed to get 2 more episodes. And because of the writer's strike, they couldn't actually put it in there. So they were like, hey, we're going to go ahead and put this out there so people don't have to wait a super long time to get this season 2. They're already having to wait a long time. And we're gonna have to end it here. And then the 3rd season, we're going to have like boo koodles of amount of crap going on because they're only going 4 seasons with that show. So I found that out and I was like, okay, I can forgive that part of it, but I still liked it. But it is what it is.
It's something about modern television streaming, whatever's is the whole first season is the pilot.
Sometimes, yeah.
It's, that's where we're at this point. Is the investment involved to get it started at all? You make the whole season and see what happens.
But yeah, I would give this season, like I'd probably give the first season of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, like around 5.5 to 6 for me. I know other people enjoyed it a little bit more. Some people disliked it more than I did. Season 2, I give them an improvement up to like a 6, 6.5. But I can see, like I said, it piqued my interest to where I think that score can go up even higher. According on what they end up doing for season 3 and stuff. It's going to be fun to speculate about that, talk about that when it happens. Real quick, going down the line, what did you think about this season overall? Give us a score of what you think season 2 ended up for you, French.
Solid 9. They definitely improved from season 1. I can't wait for season 3. And yeah, it touched all the nerd buttons in my brain.
Yeah, I just wanted to be a little more
sure.
consistent because there were half the episodes this season like I enjoyed. I was like entertained by for most of the episodes, and then there was a few episodes that I was kind of like I loved the first episode of this season, but there was a couple episodes where I was like, yeah, I didn't like as much. I thought was like missing out on a lot of things. So that's why I'm not up there at the 9 level, but I can see where people are at that level. What do you think, Greg? What's your score of the whole season?
Season 1 was a 7 because it was early on. You could just, Adelia pointed out, Halbrand was Sauron and the Strangers Gandalf. And so that kind of ruined the whole season. Or just like, okay.
It kind of made it boring.
Yeah, it just made it boring at that point. So that was a 7. This is definitely an 8. I thought it picked it up a big notch. The better storytelling, better action, just the better all over season. So I got an 8.
And Brandi.
This season was definitely easily 8.5 for me. 8.5. Definitely loved it. I loved it better than the first season. So yeah, this is definitely up there. I still think there's more. Let's see. I'm leaving it a little bit room for maybe.
Well, and dragons. There and as the lore junkie in the room, there are still plenty of. Well, I mean by plenty, I mean more than one. Dragons in Middle Earth. I'm still waiting to see it. A few of them.
Yeah, the reason it's not higher for me is like still like the Nimandor stuff. Don't really care for Sidriel or whatever his name is.
That's another thing. Next season is probably going to wrap up.
The Stranger's still going on. The Stranger was still going on when we just knew it was Gandalf. So all right, let's get on.
To me, man, if you're 8 or higher, you're like fabulous. You're like, I'm going to not only probably watch this again once, I might do it multiple times to get to that score 8 or
Trying
higher.
to lull me to sleep most nights.
But with this, I enjoyed it, but I may not watch this again. I might give it a rewatch right before season 3 comes out in a year and a half, 2 years, whenever that timeline is and everything. Maybe they are even faster. Maybe they've already been started. So maybe we even get this next season a year from now. So I might give it a little bit of a refresher right before that. But 2 months from now, I'm not going to jump on my computer and start rewatching The Lord of the Rings.
Listen,
That's why
It's no Acolyte for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, the first season, I'm just gonna say, the first season of the Rings of Power, I fell asleep during some of them. I had to go back with you guys and rewatch them again. This season, I didn't fall asleep at all. So
no, yeah, definitely pace
kept my
better,
interest.
more enjoyable.
Yeah.
I agree
Way
with
better
Fred.
pace.
If you gave up after season 1, I think season 2 you can give it a shot, and everything else. Like it is what it is, man. It's even though we all have different scales, we all have different preferences. We're all positive on it. Like I said, even me probably being the least positive about it is still at a 6.5. That's not bad. Like that means it's on the good side of things. 5, I'm like lukewarm. Like I don't know if I like it or dislike it. Anything over a 5 means I'm on the positive side of the spectrum. So, and I'm pretty sure Adelia, if she was here, would have gave it like a rating of like an 8 or 9 herself. And I think she's been pretty vocal about this season being better than season 1 too. So yeah, there we go. I think we got it. I think we covered it, man. We almost went an hour, but this is the season finale. And we kind of did talk about this whole season and kind of like looking at it, being at a retrospective. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. You can join us. Should have pinned comments down below showing you how to do it. Join that Ko-fi or Coffee account with LGR and get that set up. And you can join us when we do these things. Watch these shows when we watch them with us, or just hang out in the Discord and sit out there and talk to each other and discuss all kinds of things. We talk about all kinds of stuff in there. And with that being said, till next time, peace.
Bye-bye.
Throw it up, French.
Cheers.
L's in the
Cheers.
chat. L's in the chat.
L's in the chat for what? Don't that mean losing?
Not when you put them together.
Wow, dog. Bro, that's straight up.
Grand Elf, baby. I'm the Grand Elf. Grand Elf.
Grand Elf.
I might have to edit. I might have to edit that out, man. That was
Grand Elf. Oh, I'm sorry. Aubrey doesn't say that.
Don't
Aubrey
edit
doesn't say
it
that
out.
many W's. Sorry, my bad.
The internet is forever.
Why are you even gonna bring that up, man? We ain't even talking sports. That's some bullshit.
Are you just trying to wait
I
for
do
an
the
hour?
same thing.
You
I done
hit
got
the wrong?
perfect.
Good job, baby. Good job.